That might be
Some
It's a
great,
sandbox.
wide
It's a
shots.
soapbox. It's Bandbox. Welcome to the Real Study with your hosts, Mr. Snitbits,
I was pleasantly surprised.
Black Girl Marvel,
I cried laughing. That was hilarious.
Tyler the Filmmaker,
It's like so much depth. It's like nowadays it's, you got A shot, B shot.
all the movie things,
There's some great, wide shots in this.
Janine DeBean,
Each other. They just kind of look like they were having fun and doing their own thing.
produced by Hyena, and me, the Real Study movie voice guy.
But this was the first time where I got to see it told in a way where I was like, oh man.
Let's go to the poster wall.
Hello and welcome to the Real Study. My name is Mr. Snippets, and with me today we've got Black Girl Marvel and Janine DeBean. Know all the movie things this evening, but that is okay because we have a special guest with us.
Yeah.
We've got Haunting Season from TikTok as well as YouTube and other great social medias. Today at Josh's Picks, we are going to be doing Blood Diner and then Slaxx, two very gory, campy comedy horror movies. And don't forget, we will also be doing the Man of Steel review / very adult oriented debate, polite, not getting each other's faces. Okay, but there might be some aggression.
Yes.
And that'll be happening next month on July 6th in the lead up to Superman.
I guarantee aggression.
You guarantee aggression. I might get a little aggressive. We'll
I
see
love
how that
this.
goes.
This is fun.
We'll see. It'll be for fun. 100%
Yes,
for
it's
fun.
in good fun. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but nobody's going to walk away sour except me. I'll be all and run away. But we're going to move over to the main wall. We're going to hear from Lala before we talk to our special guest, and she's going to tell us about social media.
What's up, everybody? So as always, we enjoy that you are here, but if you are watching us, we would love for you to hit that sub button, hit that follow button. Make sure you are notified every time we go live. That's here specifically on YouTube. We are on all social media sites. We're on the TikToks, we're on the Instagrams, we're on the Blue Skies. Come on over and join us. We say some fun things on there. We have some fun times. Also, if you want to get a little bit more intimate with this, hop in just a little bit more. We do have a Discord. And in that Discord, there are some fun things. You can recommend a film or like a documentary or a TV show. We always got veto power, but we rarely use it because we just want to see what you guys got in store for us. It's a little fun sometimes to just get a movie blind and maybe somebody on the panel hasn't seen before and we just go into it. So it's a lot of fun times. We saw The Room, we don't veto much. I'm just saying.
And I was vehemently opposed, and we still
Come on,
did it. So,
very much opposed. Mr.
Right.
Snippets was very much opposed, and we still did this film. So come on into the Discord, join in, have some conversations with us. It's a chill time over there. And if you cannot watch us live because maybe you're heading to work or you're going to dinner or something like that, we are on all podcast platforms, the Spotifys, the Googles, the Podcast Republics, the Anchors. We are everywhere. So hop on there, listen to us, give our takes on some stuff, watch us, jab each other for fun, and give us 5 stars if you feel we are worth 5 stars. But giving us a vote and commenting really does help push the algorithm, push us up, and makes you a real student. Join us. Back to you, Mr. Snippet.
Thank you so much, Lala, for that. And of course, I'd like to check in. Janine, you doing all right this week? You having a fun time? You were down in LA enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I was enjoying myself until chaos broke loose. But I made it back home to where I live, and I'm okay.
I'm glad you're safe.
Yes.
I'm glad you had fun while you did, even though you had to get out. And of course, we have our special guest, Josh, also known as Haunting Season, on every platform. And you have been a guest on the show before, and we, of course, discussed, I think, Intruder was one of the movies we discussed.
yeah.
And then there was one other one. I don't remember what it was right now. It's been a while. It's been a couple years, actually. So you picked both Blood Diner and Slaxx for us. But before we get into the films, tell us, where can we find you, and what have you been doing content lately?
Yeah, I go by Haunting Season across the board. That's Instagram and TikTok mostly. I try and post to YouTube every once in a while. That's where I got my start writing original scary stories back in 2013, 2014. Did it every week for 2 years. And I missed doing it, but it was so much work. I took a bit of a break I'd say like I typically take a break around October because that's when everybody's making spooky content. So I get a little bit of a break making the content myself. But that lasted for a couple of months because we shot a film, me and my friend Watson over
Very
at
cool.
J Watt. Um, we shot a movie called Demonetize, and we are in post-production trying to raise our last little bit of funds. And next weekend, we're actually shooting pickups for it. So I'm just starting to speak about it publicly. I think Monsterpalooza this past weekend was the first time I brought it up in public. So now I'm kind of like hitting the trail, trying to get people hyped about it so that hopefully when it comes out, which could be, up to a year from now, people will be excited to see it.
Very cool.
That's awesome. So we're going to, of course, keep an eye out for Demonetized because we would love to watch a movie made by a host on our, or a guest host on our show. Still doing TikTok content here and there, I saw, but not as heavy.
Yeah, I'm kind of like getting into a season where I'm gearing back up into it. I'm never looking to do this full time, which I think is nice for me because I have friends who are, and I know how stressful that is. My day job is in documentary in the rare disease space. And so I love my job. I'm a creative director. I'm a part owner of the company. So it's always just fun to do the horror stuff. And I want to keep it that way. So if I ever get bogged down and I get like really overwhelmed with it, I just take a break and then I come back and it's no big deal. So I am currently in a season where I'm very excited about it. I'm watching a lot of movies again and starting to dock that content to find time to edit it. That's the hardest part,
That is the hardest part. I think anybody who makes content can agree that if you're going to make videos beyond just talking into the camera, there's some element that you've got to bring in there. Janine goes nuts with her videos with all the different like layers and the filters and the things. And I know La will also be doing, reviews of things and she'll have to make sure to get some of the clips in there and it can be it can be so
a lot.
Yeah.
Jinx.
So yeah, I get it. This is one of the reasons this show is live because here it is. Like it's raw, it's uncut. You get to see us while we're here, even when we gaff, but that's okay. We do have one piece. Thank you for being with us, Josh. I didn't say that, but thank you so much for joining us. We have one piece of news that I wanted to cover. It's little, but it caught my eye, and I knew they were making this movie, but we're going to get to the real news.
Now it's time for the real news.
So the ensemble cast of Animal Farm, George Orwell's Animal Farm, just got an update. We just got a release of a short clip between two pigs, and I'm excited for this. This is the era for this. We need movies like this to teach people things. I think
you're excited for animation? That's wild.
Well, it's not that it's animation, but it's a kid's story that's basically like 1984, but in a kid's version. And to me, that's vital. And I'm just excited to see it. And it is a great book if you've never read it. It's actually really short. But it's interesting because I heard a statistic that scared the crap out of me the other day. A teacher was talking about how they had this book for their kids, and the kids kept voting for, like, cheering on the antagonist the entire time and like sided with them. Like 6 out of 10 of the kids were siding the antagonist. And even from this clip, if you haven't watched it, like it is completely delving into racism, or I guess in this case speciesism, where they separate themselves by cow and pig and try to
segregation
barriers, right? And so I think it's vital. But go check out the clip, see if you're excited about it. I know I'm excited to see this.
What's
come
the name
out.
of it
Seth
again?
Rogen. Animal Farm.
Animal Farm.
Okay. Like Animal Farm.
Same name as the book from George Orwell. And then Seth Rogen's in it. Andy Serkis. It's got a hell of a cast. So
yeah, nice.
Curious if you guys got a chance to even catch the clip. I know it just came
no, I haven't seen it.
So. Well, now you guys have a reason to.
Yes,
so that's Go ahead, Josh. You were going to say something.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I heard something. My apologies.
Just on the spot.
He's like, wait a minute.
Nope. Probably been about 30 years since I read that book, but
there you go. But I think, fresh audience, new generation. I think it's a great thing to do. There are other movies coming out. I know Lilo and Stitch is still kicking the crap out of everything in the box office. How, I don't know. And Ballerina did all right, but that's a perfect segue because Janine got to see Ballerina. Tell us what you thought.
So I saw it in 4DX last night. And I really enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of the John Wick franchise. So I was really looking forward to this film. I think Ana de Armas does a great job with all these stunts and the action aspects. They're bringing in fire stunts, and I liked that. I think a lot of the action felt like it was shot really wide. It wasn't a lot of kind of close contact stuff. It was all kind of wide shots, so you could kind of see everything. So I thought that looked great. They worked in John Wick really well. Also, I think this is set between 3 and 4, so he kind of pops in, before kind of all the events of the 4th film. I will say that story-wise, I think, she has kind of her direction, her mission of why she's doing all of this. And then we kind of compound on like several more reasons why she is, why she wants to go about doing what she's doing. So that kind of, convolutes things a little bit and gets a little overcomplicated, I think. But overall, I really enjoyed it. Gabriel Byrne is our villain, so he's kind of this very, quiet, measured villain. So I think he did a good job with that. And I liked getting to see more of Angelica Houston's character and the world building that, her character creates, because we get to see a little bit of that world and the Romani and all that kind of stuff in 3, but it's kind of built out a little bit more. So I like getting to see that side of it as well.
So almost like a John Wick 3.5, maybe?
Yeah, like a 3.5. So yeah, I don't think, it eclipses any of the John Wick films for me, but I still had a lot of fun with it.
Gotcha.
I saw Norman Reedus on the poster. Is that right?
Yes, which he is pretty underutilized. They could have definitely had him in it a lot more than he was, which was kind of a bummer, because he doesn't do a ton of movies because he's all inundated with, Walking Dead.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how Daryl Dixon is Daryl Dixon in this?
Yeah.
He kind of is playing to that a little bit, but
well, that's the thing that draws people to him, because my first experience was Boondock Saints, and I was like, he's an Irish,
Well, as a teeny girl, I saw him in a movie called Gossip with
nice.
Lena
Okay,
Headey
so even younger,
and Joshua Jackson, and
nice,
James Marsden from like the late 90s, early 2000s teen movie. So
sounds like right up your alley. All those dudes are like,
yeah, absolutely,
exactly.
Heartthrob City, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Young Kate Hudson. Yeah. So that's where I first saw him in films. So I think he was underutilized. They could have had him in it a lot more, because I was excited to see him in this. So that was a bit of a bummer, but everything else, I really enjoyed the world building of this. It was nice to see Lance Reddick. He probably got to, film these little bits before he passed. So, because I love his character in that world.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was good to see him pop.
I wanted a solo with him. So bad.
Nice.
I know.
And he's not in the Continental, right? He's not in the other.
I don't think so.
Movie.
Like,
the
Continental.
On the show?
The TV show? I don't think so.
The show's like a kind of an early show, so it's a young Winston, and it's probably a young
right. So it wouldn't be him.
But it wouldn't be him.
It will be him, type of thing. So
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do this a little unorthodox. So you and Josh both brought a couple of movies. So let's move over to haunting season, and you saw Fear Street Prom Queen, and you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, mainly because it's brought up this thing for me. So Chuck the Movie Guy made a video that was like, I don't know why people are hating on this movie. It's incredible. Go watch it. I trust Chuck. So I went and watched it myself with my wife and ended up having a really good time. And I went in with low expectations because it is Fear Street. It's a gateway horror. It's for younger people. It's based off of like novels for teens, and I just had a really good time. It reminded me so much of like Slumber Party Massacre and Prom Night and movies like that don't really have an extraordinary plot. They don't really have deep characters or even villains. It just is a bunch of teens getting slaughtered, and it was shot in a way, the cinematography felt like it was lit and shot straight from the 80s. They used a lot of hard lighting, and the kills were cool. Like a lot of it was practical effects, maybe enhanced a little bit with CGI. And I don't know, like that just does it for me in a really fun way. I wasn't going in expecting this to be Hereditary, right? A whole bunch of layers that I then have to think about for the rest of my freaking life. Right. No, it's just a fun, like popcorn Sunday night movie. And I think it nailed it.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, so basically, it didn't have to be Revolutionary Road or The Reader. Those are a couple movies we did a couple weeks ago
very
that
deep.
are very
Yeah.
layered and
Very
very,
hard
like,
to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, I
so
think
yeah.
it's so important that we have gateway horror for kids to find their way into this genre in a safe way.
Yeah.
And I also think that the horror community seems to just hate on movies as it becomes more and more saturated with how many movies we get out. I was talking to Josh B. Levesque at Monsterpalooza, and he was like, if you don't like a horror movie, there are 10 more that came out today. Go watch
Right.
another one.
This
And
is
I
true with
just-
film in general. Like that's
Yeah.
that's something that we promote on this channel. Don't
Absolutely.
Like
Have
what
a
you like.
have a dialogue about it. Say I didn't like it for these reasons, but don't
Yeah.
call it dog crap, you know?
Yeah,
People work hard
honestly,
on it.
I don't believe
Yeah.
people's opinions anymore because they're so bold with no substance. Like
Yeah,
you
they
talk
don't
about,
give any reasons
they don't
as to
give
why
any
they didn't like
reason.
something. Yeah.
You know, like so I just be like, okay, all right, you have a good day because you don't
See,
you don't
this
want to
is
talk
one
about
of
this for real.
this is one of the reasons I think this show is good is because we want to show you that there are a variety of people with a variety of opinions. And if you find somebody you agree with, then maybe you listen to what they said about a film and then approach it the
Yeah.
way you would. Because there's nothing wrong with that. If you love what Haunted Season says about film, then you're going to know that Prom Queen's probably right up your alley. So yeah,
Prom Street's the
I love that.
musical.
That
Oh
is
my
the
God.
musical. You're right. Prom Street the
I
musical.
would so watch
I am
that.
stabbing you. Sorry.
Like the
I had to
blood goes
start
up in
writing a song.
succession. You like
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 fountain.
the fountains in Vegas.
Yes,
I love
I'm
that. That's
here
short.
for
That's
it.
beautiful.
Oh my god, I can do this. I can choreograph this, guys.
Yeah, and there are only a handful of horror musicals, so this seems like there's an audience that
Yeah.
would
Here
want
for it,
this.
man.
I know my wife would want this. She likes horror musicals. All right, so Janine, you also got to see another very anticipated movie, the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Tell us what you thought.
Yeah, I'm salivating for this review.
So I
Give it
got
to
an
me.
invite to an early screening they were doing in my area, and I got to invite my family. So it was kind of a fun little family event. We got like reserved seating in the big IMAX screen.
Nice.
We got a letter from the director, so that was kind of a fun like experience
Awesome.
in getting to see this movie. I don't know, for whatever reason, I never really revisited the animated version so much. Like I know it's so beloved, but I had only really seen it one time, like a long time ago. And I remembered enjoying it. But I did watch it again before going to this screening. And yeah, I think this is what Disney wishes it could be with its live action remakes. Because, I think people can argue that like these live action remakes don't really have a point or a purpose, and they're just kind of a cash grab thing. But then you watch this movie and you see it's all down to the execution. This literally was the animated film come to life. Like there were some like exact shots in there. But because the actors are not, animated, they look like the animated versions, but they're obviously giving more grounded, realistic performances. So the emotions and things read really well. And you feel that slight difference, but it's literally like the animated version come to life in the coolest way. I think, all the dragons still look kind of cartoonish and silly, but you feel like you can touch them. I think the CGI was really well done. I think the most important aspect, probably like the flying scenes, those were really dynamic and beautiful. And I think this would be a great one to see in 40X, definitely with all the flying stuff. It had a bunch of tones, obviously, a lot of emotional things, a lot of action, and all of that played really well. The comedy aspects as well. So yeah, as if you're a fan of this franchise, if you're a fan of the animated version, you will love this because it's literally that come to life.
Okay.
So it was beautiful.
So that makes me want to ask, does that mean that, and spoiler, if you don't want to get a spoiler for a movie you have probably already seen, but anyway.
Well, I haven't, but I don't care.
Okay, well, if you don't care, that's different. Does it have the big, like, F-off dragon at the end? The, like, enormous dragon that they fight? Okay, that's what I want.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got a question. As someone who hasn't seen either, if I were to watch one of them, which one should I choose?
Start with the animated because it has two sequels that are also really good. That are worth
so
watching.
start with the
and that's
animated.
from not even seeing the live action. Like, you want to watch
watch the animated. It's because I feel like for me personally, this is a series that I've watched. Like I always come back to it. I always watch 1, 2, 3. I always watch reactions of it because it's hands down like maybe one of the best trilogies ever written, ever produced, ever. to me personally of all time.
Yeah.
No, but you're not wrong, Bob, because I have one of those 250 movie posters that like it's every insanely important movie ever made,
Yeah.
and the
Are all
trilogy is on.
I'm about to say
poster.
all three are on their own.
All
three?
three are on
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, that's
because
Yeah.
the first one is a great like character driven like you learn about the
Intro,
characters,
learn
but
about the
then
world.
two like larger
Two ramps
world,
up
really
like
yeah.
and then three brings everything together.
Right.
Like it's such a beautifully
And your
thoughtful-
characters age, because like
Yeah,
in most
right.
animated
Right.
things, your characters don't
Animations,
age; they stay the
actually
same.
they
Yeah.
actually age, and you actually can see the transformation of them being older from like the previous one. Like it's such a well thought of, well produced, well like voice acted, well
Yeah.
like, and you can see the animation jump each one too, how beautiful it gets each and every film. It's
There's a reason they're
great.
9s across the board on most
Yeah.
platforms. Like you're
Yes.
going to see really high
Wow.
scores.
Yeah.
And the
I'm
casting
I'm
was
very
great.
excited now.
Yeah,
I think you will like them.
I can
Yeah,
speak
I
very
do.
highly of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. It's such a beautiful world. The music in all three is amazing, but the first one, the music is gonna knock you out in such a great way that you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna bring all the feels. So I say watch the trilogy first before you watch this one. That way you just have a stronger,
a nice base for these characters.
yeah, a nice base for these characters. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope this one does well so we can get the live action trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
That would be great. Because the casting is so good as well. Like they look just like the characters, jumping off the screen.
Does
Yeah,
Hiccup
it's great.
sound like Hiccup? Does he sound the part?
He's not
Jay
really
Baruchel has a
doing.
very distinct voice, so
Yes, but I like that he
Nobody
wasn't
can
trying to
be-
mimic that. I
Right,
like that
nobody
he
can be
wasn't.
They
Jay
didn't try.
Baruchel.
Yeah, nobody
nobody-
was really putting on any voices or anything. Obviously,
Good.
Gerard Butler is going to sound like his character
Right.
because he
No,
voiced his
still him.
character.
absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, no one's really putting on any kind of crazy voices, but they are playing into their character quirks really well.
awesome.
So
That's exciting.
And
All right,
he
Josh, you
has, I know
watched-
the actor has he does have a pitch, he sounds like a young kid because it's
Yes.
the kid from, the Black Phone.
Black Phone, yeah.
Yeah, it's the kid from Black
okay.
Phone. So
Yes.
he does
I
have
like
that
him.
slight squeak to his voice at times that you can see that he's going to mature and
Yeah.
grow in like the trilogy.
Yes.
I like it. Josh, you watched another movie, and this one is, of course, getting rave reviews across the board. Tell us about this. Why did my brain not want to say it? Dangerous Animals.
Dangerous
Dangerous Animals. Thank you. My brain just skipped out for a moment.
You're afraid the shark will get you if you say it.
Maybe.
I'm glad to hear that because I know a lot of people went to the premiere and there's excitement around that. And that's most of what I had seen before going to see this movie. I went on a whim on Thursday night, which was opening night here in LA. And I went in with very low expectations. It's a shark movie. I feel like that's the appropriate way to go into a shark movie is to just not expect much.
Mhm.
But I thought that Jai Courtney, the guy playing the villain, was
Really?
really cool. And he's incredibly
Ooh.
charismatic and good looking and
Yes.
crazy. And look, not all the performances nail it across the board. I think I gave it a 3.5 with a heart on Letterboxd, and it's a very strong 3.5. I think that's a good movie. Is 3.5. It's nothing to write home about, but look, it's the summertime. You get into the air conditioning, you get some thrills. It's got a great story. It's a little cheesy at times, but that's fine because it's a shark movie where we're just lowering people into the water and watching them get eaten. It's got great cat and mouse stuff. It's shot really nice, and they used real sharks. Where they use scientific footage of sharks and cut it into the movie, so you're getting actual shark performance. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I know they shot it out on the open water in the ocean for the most part. They did also do a tank for some specific stuff, but for a lot of it, they were out on the open ocean in the water. And the safety team on day one, the one guy on a ski-doo got his fin bit off of his foot by a shark, and so they had to build this giant perimeter of a fence, the largest one ever built, around the boat where they were filming, so far away that you couldn't see it underwater when the cameras were down there, in order to keep the sharks away for the actual filming of it. So there's some cool lore to it, and yeah, I thought they did a great job. Again, it's not going to blow anybody's mind, but it is a great summer movie theater movie.
Okay, love that.
A little bit of chat about Jai Courtney in the chat.
I mean, Aina, that Die Hard movie was pretty wrong. So
Yeah, when they made the fifth one, I was like, "What are you doing? You didn't even name
Yeah.
like the naming convention fell apart too. Like a
Yeah.
good date. What are you doing to me? You're killing me. It doesn't find its
Yeah.
way. Like in digital movies when they do that, I'm like, what are you doing to me?
Best and the tagline, "Yippee ki Mother Russia." Oh Lord,
Yeah,
that was
That's
rough.
hilarious.
so painful. I got to finally catch up on a movie that everybody has seen about 1,000 times already. I got to watch Sinners this week,
Yay.
and so I was excited to
Yay.
see Sinners. Of course, everybody and their brother, when the people that are talking negative about it are like, "Oh, it's just From Dusk Till Dawn," and I'm like, I mean, it's a similar formula, but that's kind of where and vampires. Sorry, yeah. If you haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn, I just ruined it.
Yeah, a shift to vampires in like
but
the
it's
latter
still
half.
like
But yeah,
right.
that's about it.
But it's a whole movie leading up to one moment in an
Mhm.
evening. But this is executed on a level that is no movies. Movies aren't made like this, and I'm not sure why, because this sucked me in a really real way. The music
I see what you did there.
Is phenomenal. The music is wildly phenomenal. Michael B. Jordan destroys it as Smoke and Stack. And I love both brothers for different reasons. Delroy Lindo,
Come
who
on.
I've
Yeah.
always loved, is like this is like, why is he not getting an award for this? Like maybe getting some kind of nod or something, because he really killed it. And then the kid that plays Preacher Boy,
Miles Baton.
That's
Or Catton.
Caden. Yeah.
Caton.
that
Caden. Yeah,
oh,
there we go.
like that's a
We found it
performance.
together.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. It's got some great vampire lore. It's got some great comedy. It's got some great drama. It deals in real life shit, which most
Yeah,
horror
great
movies don't want
themes
to
in
go
there.
into.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, ultimately, even if you're not a horror movie fan, go watch this movie. Like really seriously.
And the
It's a
history
little
and
gory,
research
but
that went into
right,
it as well.
right.
Yeah.
I love have you all seen it?
Yes.
Okay, so spoilers for those that haven't, but I love the Native Americans showing up as like the vampire hunters.
Oh my
in
God,
the
I want to
beginning.
see a
I'm like,
movie
Oh my God,
about
yeah.
them. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
too, like a spin-off. Like
Yeah.
that would be so great.
Absolutely.
They were so unbothered. That's like maybe a great scene of mine. They just so
They
unbothered.
were
Like,
just
man, we
cool
really
and
trying to help.
stylish. You're like,
Man,
okay,
we want to help you.
prayers.
It's
Like, we
sundown.
want to
I'm out
help
of here.
you. Oh, you don't want us? All right, we gotta head
Right.
out. Let's
Right.
go ahead. Put this in reverse. Get out of here.
Yeah, no,
Prayers and sorrows. Bye.
You feel
there's
me?
a lot to like. There's a lot to sink your teeth into with this movie.
Hey!
I had to do it.
Huzzah!
But yeah,
Yes.
so check out Sinners if you haven't checked that out yet. If you're like me and you wait until everybody else has seen it, and you try to play the like spoiler dodge game,
Yeah.
I'm really good at that game.
And I will say this is no disrespect to anybody, but this film to me is like a very powerful film, because not only is it like directed by a black man and stars a black man, it has a lot of like Black American and also African American
History.
roots and history and things to it, and Ryan Coogler put a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, if you see the amount of consultants
Yes,
in the credits,
right on the credits is crazy. So I will say anybody that is not of the Black or African American background, if you do see this film and you feel confused on things, find you a Black person that you know to possibly help you and like understand some things, because I can understand how maybe watching this on the surface is it's great, but if you understand some of the underlining things of it, it makes the film even better. So I would just say, or just or research it a little bit more yourself if you don't have any Black friends or anything like that, or any or like Native American friends, however it is. Do a little deeper research, because I think a lot of people went and saw this film, and not just like white people. There are some Black people as well, and like different races who have seen this film, and it was just like, it's okay. And I feel like it's okay to them because they don't have a stronger context of what Ryan Coogler is trying to say and do in this film. And I feel like a little bit more research will change the tide of what you think this film actually is.
There's a lot of great breakdowns on YouTube, a lot of great breakdowns on TikTok, and it just, for me as a white person, gave me more and more layers to go back and rewatch the film and feel like I'm getting more and more each time I watch it. And not just for the Black community and Black culture and history, but also for Chinese American history. There's stuff in there that's layered in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that it showed the generationalism that these two individuals, the two Chinese characters, they'd been there a long enough time that they developed an accent of being in the South. and I really appreciated that. That it just shows that you become part of a community faster than people think you do. Like if
Yeah,
you're
and that
there,
they
you're
are kind of these
contributing.
middleman kind of characters between whites and
Mhm.
blacks and that divide. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked all of that. It was very unique, and not something you see often. I can't believe this is only his 5th film.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
like he's been doing it a lot longer.
Mhm.
But when just watching Fruitvale Station will tell you this that Coogler had a hell of a career in front of him. Like that's
Oh,
all
yeah.
you need is
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch that one movie to find that out.
Yeah.
And I think it's
And-
awesome that he goes from that eventually to Marvel, but then doesn't continue to go up the kind of like schlocky Hollywood.
Yeah,
Goes
absolutely.
right back with
He
Sinners.
now gets to go down to something that he
Right.
wanted to
Right.
make something original.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
that's the
if-
real boss move.
Yes.
Right.
And if you do want some fun Easter eggs, go to the Sinners About page on Spotify and scroll to the bottom, and you'll get to see some fun little newspaper articles that speak to Remick's past and the twins before they left the town and kind of the rivalry that's happening because of them. So,
I like that. Aina mentioned him doing X-Files, so that's going to be very,
oh,
very
yeah.
interesting.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to see where that goes.
And I will say that what is it? I think Sinners takes place in like Clarksdale, Mississippi, or somewhere like that. And Ryan Coogler, they don't have a movie theater, and Ryan
Yeah,
Coogler,
so he did
he held a screening there for Clarkston, Mississippi to watch this film, and
Like
it
like
was,
on a building, or like did he set up in a park, or what? Like
I
how
think
did, or
like
they build
in
a theater?
No, they I think they put up a screen. In
yeah,
like
I think he put
in
up a screen
convention
and
center.
did like a thing, and like made it so that they can like view it. You know, he didn't like build a theater from scratch, and it was
Yeah,
like, here's
no,
your
they
theater.
Like,
they
you
put
can
a
play movies
screen.
in a lot of places.
I think it was like a
Yeah.
convention center, and they put a screen.
Put a
there
screen
and-
up so
and
they
screen,
so
yeah.
that this town could watch the
The
film
movie
in
set
which was
yeah.
set in their town, so they can see
That's
it.
wild. This is totally a non sequitur, but you reminded me of something that we used to do when I was young. I used to live in San Rafael, California, which is where American Graffiti, the film, was filmed. Of course, George Lucas is from Marin County. And every year during this time of the year, they do a car show in San Rafael, and they play American Graffiti on the back of the Macy's building every single
That's
year.
cool.
And it's such a cool thing that they do.
I wish more cities would have fun like that. Let's have
Yeah,
fun.
with the movie in there.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
exactly.
agree.
Because Gran Torino, baby, bring it. I need to see this on billboards. Yes, I need to see this stream. That's a great film.
Yeah,
Right?
it's really good. Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2 movies that we watched at Josh's behest, if you will, and they are right up the same alley that he was mentioning. Prom Queen. They are kind of that over the top, gory, looking for the good
Cheeky
kills,
horror,
really, really ridiculous horror. So we're gonna, of course, go to our host or guest host and ask why did you pick Blood Diner, and then. Because I know I'd never seen Blood Diner.
Man, I don't know.
And I know that La
I
has
don't
not
know.
seen Blood Diner, and I don't think Janine had seen Blood Diner before this.
And I'm sad I saw it. But continue. Yes.
But I want to hear
Okay,
your, I want to hear
let
your
me
take.
just tell
Yeah,
you the
please,
context
please.
in which I saw it, because I did a rewatch last night while I was hemming a couple shirts, and it hits different at home alone.
Yes,
So
yes.
a couple years ago, a friend of mine invited me to a movie marathon. I had never been to one before. It was in this tiny theater in Santa Monica, just packed with 100 people, shoulder to shoulder. You can't straighten your knees. It's hot, and you're just buying popcorn and watching slasher films all day. We did, it was Blood Diner. It was Slumber Party Massacre. It was Chopping Mall, and a couple others. Just to set the tone for the day. So Blood Diner comes on after a couple of these films that take themselves more seriously, or at least, did, and then have now become these kind of campy, schlocky horror garbage that we love from the 80s. And this thing comes on, and immediately you can tell something's different. Things are dubbed over. Some of the characters aren't even people. You've got a talking brain. I mean, so the story for anyone who doesn't know Blood Diner is that this uncle who killed some people gets shot down by the police, and the 2 nephews unbury him, just his brain, and put it in a jar, and then he talks to them in somehow some kind of like German accent now, and tells them that they've got to bring back Shitar by killing a bunch of loose
immoral
women. and like basically Frankensteining their
Frankensteining her
bodies.
together.
Yeah.
So that she can come back and have a blood feast and rule the planet or something. I don't know. It gets really murky if you listen for too long.
No, absolutely.
She was trying to zool her way back into things.
Yes,
is what it
Anoxina
sounds like.
Moon her back as well.
Yeah.
You know,
There's another-
absolutely.
And so in order to do this, they open up a vegan restaurant where they are feeding the bits and pieces of these people that they
they're
kill back to the public and
Sweeney
saying
Todding
it's
it
vegan.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that sets it up pretty good. You eventually get zombies and a Nazi band and
which was
a
wild.
mannequin.
Was crazy.
And a mannequin
There
who's
was more
a
than
full
one.
character.
There's also a full-on like Hitler character, which was really weird.
Oh yeah, a
Yeah.
Hitler wrestler character. There's a whole wrestling sequence which has
nothing to do with
like
anything.
no bearing on the plot.
No bearing on the plot. I was like, I blinked and was like, are we wrestling?
Is this a new movie?
There's
This is a
police
mini-series,
detectives
right?
trying to hunt them down. I mean,
There's
it's
two
very
separate
complex.
ones and they
It's
butt
very
head. I said, this is too much. This is too layered. There's too many things.
There's too many things
layered.
thrown in at this.
I love
Yeah.
it's layered.
But
It's
it was
layered.
somewhere. It was somewhere around the point where they falafeled a woman's head and then shot it off of her body with a stick or something that I was like, this is it for me. Like this is peak 80s cinema.
Falafel head was magical.
But as an indie filmmaker, the fact that this and to be completely serious about this, the fact that this lives on, that it exists on Tubi for free for anyone to watch, that people will gather in a theater and watch this piece of garbage that a bunch of people obviously made for fun, not to win an Oscar, just to be weird and quirky and really put their mark on fringe society, makes me so happy to be doing kind of something similar in creating my own film and making it just so that maybe some people see it someday.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like it. See, I imagine that in the screenplay it was like, nephews do X gratuity, nephews do Y gratuity. And it was just, they kept saying just gratuity, get it in there somehow. We got to find a way to get gratuity.
Make it
throughout the
aerobics
entire
class. Check.
Right?
Yeah.
Lala, what did you think of Blood Diner?
All right. So this was a special one. Do you understand me? So I'm
so sorry.
This is a special one. I didn't realize this was an 80s film until I saw the titties. And I was like, this is an 80s film because 80s film love putting women out. Just naked, booties, breasts, like they just the 80s.
Naked
80s,
exercising.
Come on,
that's another scene that's in this.
Like,
naked cheerleading exercising.
Yes, just I'm like, what? I was a cheerleader. We never did that. We never did that. But I will say, like, as an actor myself, a person who would love to be more in that space, like full time, like how like Josh is, like I would love to be in that space more. I'm working on that. I agree. I enjoyed that this got made, that this had a budget, whatever that budget was. I like that. I like they were able to like hire people. They were able to do props and
effects, special effects.
Listen, the brightest red blood I've ever seen in my days. Okay, like it's a puppy. Not a puppy, but a puppy to me always. Every dog is a puppy. It was an interesting film in which I was like, every scene I was like, what am I watching right now? Every scene I was like, what is this?
It certainly keeps your attention.
As a 90s girly who watched a lot of like some 90s horror, especially like TV shows and things like that, it gave me like I was getting Buffy vibes from this. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Whedon watched this because it was giving me Buffy vibes with like the trio of like these regular dudes who tap into magic to cause chaos and just chaos alone. And like that's what I saw this as these two little nerds that was like, I can't get women, so we're gonna get the ultimate woman to like kill everybody.
It was weird sciencey.
It was. I was snitty. This is why like you be in my brain, man. This is why it's just like kismet, man. I was watching this whole time and I was like, this is a very horror weird science where they're like piecing together this woman to like supercharge her to come to life, and I was just like, what is this? I will say it was if you blink you miss everything. I say that. If you blink, the whole plot's gone. If you blink, you got to just stare at the screen. But I will say I love that
Just
there
to
was
keep the
like
plot,
you just got to
yeah.
keep the plot, man. But
Right.
I just loved it. It was just so much happening, and then these two like detectives to come in, but they not on the same team, but they fighting for the same reason, but they can't get along. And then I'm like, are y'all lovers though? Because y'all seem attracted to each other. I'm confused. And then at the end, it's like, yeah, you're such a jokey jokester, and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening with y'all. Like, we almost died. Like, y'all gonna make that work, I guess. I'm like, I'm happy for y'all, I guess. Like, I wasn't really invested, but like, I guess I am now. And then the ending of the movie to me is the quintessential, like, this is me. This is me.
I knew you knew they thought they ate with that ending.
You
like,
feel me? You feel me?
perfect.
You feel me? But I'm like, this is quintessential men to me. You saw this woman's mouth. And she went, she died. You
And
like,
you
we
just
about to have
drive
a
on.
You just drive
Oh,
on.
you did that so
You're
well.
at the house, like the car. You're not afraid of this woman's supernatural mouth. Like, you're just not
Yeah.
afraid.
No,
Well,
this
he's,
movie.
like, horny. Like, what are you gonna do with that mouth, dude? That's scary. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, wait till he finds out her whole stomach is a mouth
stomach
too.
is a mouth.
Right?
I was like,
And waiting for his
listen,
head.
I was like, he's
Yeah.
going to die. I was like, he's going to die. And I'm okay with that because he's stupid enough to be like, I want this in my car.
No, all the men in this movie deserve to die. Every one of them deserve.
Listen, when that guy
die.
punched that girl at the boxing match because it was too gory for her, I said, I was on the phone with my friend. I was like, did he punch her? I said, wait a second. And I went back. And he was like, well, I guess I have no choice. Click. Yeah, she just painted the sight of blood. I said, what is this film? But
There's
It's weird.
no subtext in this movie. It's just
None.
text.
it's just text.
That's
And I'm
true.
just like,
It
you know
is just
what?
text.
It gives me hope that whatever I create can become a thing. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Janine,
But
what
even
did
if
you
it
think
doesn't,
of
there will be
Blood
people that enjoy it.
Exactly.
The world is so
Yeah,
diverse.
Somebody will find
Somebody's
it.
going to enjoy it and be like, she needs to do more. And I'm like, I need that energy. I'll take whatever good energy I get from any bad film I'll put out there to make a better one.
Well, there you go. Janine, give us your thoughts on Blood Diner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I have kind of in the last 2 years or so have developed an appreciation for more schlockier horror films.
Mhm.
I did a series on my TikTok where I was, finding movies to watch that were themed for every month. And in that process, I found a ton of like crazy, schlocky, never heard of horror films. And some of them I really enjoyed. So yeah, and going into this, I don't know that I would have even really given it a chance at all like 3 years ago. But I was open to it. And I definitely could see how this would work watching it with a crowd. But yeah,
Absolutely.
watching it alone at midnight in your hotel room was a lot. Um, yeah, I kind of agree with what everyone's saying in terms of like, my rating spectrum, 1 through 10. I give any movie a 1 just for the fact that it was
Right.
made, because
For
making a
existing.
movie is
Yep.
is difficult.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of things going on. But yeah, I could appreciate what it was trying to do, it being a bit self-aware
Mhm.
of kind of the craziness of what it was trying to be. I believe in kind of looking into it a little bit, it was started as a sequel to a film called Blood Feast.
Blood Feast.
And
yeah.
then they just decided, well, it's different enough. We're just gonna make our own thing. And then threw all the crap in
Yep.
there. I definitely could see, Law, how you were confused about when it was set, because we had a very confused costume person who was like had greasers and like
I say what's
people dressed
happening.
for the 70s and like people dressed
Or
for
like
the 80s. So
there was like
yeah.
a bebop band, but they were dancing
Yeah.
like punks in the audience, which was very
Yeah.
interesting.
I was like, what's happening?
yeah.
Yes, it was kind of Frankensteined a bunch of genres together.
So
Absolutely.
it sounds like,
Wow.
from what I tortured Ashley with this one, my wife with this
I
one,
love
pretty
that.
batsy.
I love that for that.
So much so
Never getting invited
that-
back.
so much so that like halfway through I was like, we're almost done, and she got up and came back and she like hit the thing and was like, what do you mean there's 40 minutes? And I was like, we're almost she
We're
like
almost there.
begrudgingly finished this with
At
me.
least she came back.
She did, and I made her watch all the way through to the shitar of it all at the very end. We did find one scene exceptionally humorous, and that was when the competitive chef got his hands cut off and he's trying to drive and he's got nothing but blood squirting all over the windshield on the inside. That was a riot. I laughed at that. And I do love the like ridiculousness of some of the kills, like running over the biker over and over
and over again.
and never
Yeah.
stopping. So we read a couple of reviews on Letterboxd, and apparently one of the people that did a review was in the movie and explained like what it was like to be on set,
Love
and
that.
said that this was the most chaotic, most intense, worst experience of their entire lives as an actor. That people were literally walking off set, and they were hiring literal like people off the street, like homeless people, to fill in slots in order to just fill in.
Get it done. Oh my god.
Wow.
And
The
you can
most
almost kinda tell.
unsurprising thing I've ever heard.
Right.
And then even like at the end, apparently the makeup they were all wearing for zombies, they put it on at like 9 a.m. but didn't shoot until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So it was like melting
Stop.
off of their faces, which, you know, kind of adds to the
I mean, it
wildness
worked.
of
Yeah, I
it
guess.
all.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I gotta be
it's
in that
weird.
for hours. Stop it.
Right. They had to be in like that for hours, yeah, and in a dark, dusty, you know, dingy club
Yeah.
or whatever. But it is weird that this movie does have like it does follow through. Like you can pick up the story at the beginning and you do see it through to the end. Like it does exist. It's just like Josh said, there's no nuance. Like it's just these guys bring evil demon lady back. There it is. It just takes
And
an hour
it's-
and a half to get
And
there.
it succeeds.
So-
The plot succeeds. Like there's no like we stopped evil for entering Earth. It's like no, evil's here now, and everybody's dead, and the two
Right.
cops found
Yes.
love, and we
And-
don't care about what's
Yeah.
happening right now.
We're
So,
following the antagonists in it the whole time, and the two protagonists we have, which are the cops, are not great people. They're awful
No.
to each other, and the one guy, the one human that should be decent as a male, is still a sleazebag and
Yeah.
still coming on to his partner. and,
nobody
like,
is redeemed, and this
Yeah.
and this demon is
No.
This
taking over
movie-
the Earth. That's
This is the way
hilarious.
I looked at it. This movie hates women. Like this movie, like
Absolutely.
really hates on women, and it
Which
is the
is
80s,
crazy.
so it makes
It's
sense.
directed. It's directed by a woman.
I know it is, but it is one of those bizarre like films. I
So
love
there's
the
a
one
weird-
girl. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
There's a weird phenomenon with that. And I'm not saying it's always true, and it may not be true for this film, but like, so that same day that I saw it, I mentioned there was Slumber Party Massacre,
Yeah.
and they brought up the director, who was a woman. And I remember the first time I watched it was for a podcast. My friend Molly, who does the Final Girl podcast, Final Girl Fridays, she said, you know, watch this movie. And I'd never really seen slashers. It was the beginning of seeing a lot of these slashers, and I didn't get it the first time. And then I watched it with a friend, and I was like, oh, this is like way more fun with a friend. And then I saw it in the theater, which was the third time I saw it, and it was a hoot. I mean, like, it was so much fun. And then they brought the director out, and she talked about how she had the job as the editor for E.T., or she could go direct this movie. And she wanted to do that because she said, she thought in her mind, well, E.T. is going to be fine. It's going to be fine whether I do it or not, but maybe I can come in and influence this movie. And it turns out that really, when you think about it, and her intention was that Slumber Party Massacre is actually a feminist film. And even though there was kind of a quota, I think someone asked this, it might have even been me, I don't even remember, but asked if there was like a show boobs quota, and there kind of was, because the studio was like, well, it's the 80s, and like,
Yeah.
you know, but so, you know, there's lots of topless women in it, but really at the end of the day, it's about this guy with his like larger than life drill trying to drill some women, and them being like, fuck you. No.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the one. So there's the guy trying to sleep with the girl in the like cave at the beach, and or at least I think that's what it was, a beach. And I love that at first she's scared, but then even buck naked, she's badass. She starts kicking that dude's ass like hardcore, and then a rock knocks her out. I was like, come on, man. Come on, you had one super strong, like gonna get it done female character, and then you just did her dirty. Like I was so upset.
Yeah.
I was
There
like,
was a lot of
think of the
just knocking
alternative.
people out.
Yeah.
Think of
Right.
the alternative though. You know, she would have been naked the rest of the film doing karate. And like, I don't think that's right either.
they would have been NC 25 or something.
my
Like, it would have
gosh.
been, yeah.
It was like
I know.
certain things, like when the chick got like strung up, and then the guy had the knife, like the other detective had the knife, and he like cut her loose, and then he cut her thing, and I'm like, he's like, I wasn't gonna do anything. Okay, well, do it differently.
I was
are
going
you
to stop
doing?
after
My
2 or 3
buttons,
buttons,
dude.
he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, sir? I was like, was like, what's happening with this film?
I think there is a self-awareness there because I mean,
It
like
is,
the men are
absolutely. It has to be.
truly rotten in this film,
Mhm.
and knowing that it's directed by a woman, that's definitely intentional and
Has
definitely
to be.
leaned into. And it sounds like there wasn't much of a script or reliable.
Right.
You know, probably wasn't a script soup at least.
Which is
So
very 80s. It's such a
yeah,
80s
so she
movie.
probably added some stuff along the way. If I had
Mhm.
to
I
guess.
guess, yeah.
It does seem like there was some weirdness with the script because they keep talking about get virgins. We need some. They need virgin blood, right? They need all this virgin blood, but then they go out and they keep taking down vegetarians, like they were too dumb to know they were supposed to go after virgins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they
Which
go
is
for
why
the
part of me
cheerleaders,
is
and I'm like,
like-
you're telling me all those cheerleaders, like all of them are virgins?
Right.
I don't know.
Like,
about
come
that.
on, but like that's why my brain was like, this is why I'm like, I'm always like, when I see a plot, I'm like, well, maybe this could have made it stronger. If this, I always have a tendency to do that. Like, I have like a fan fiction person who was like, this would have been better if this would have been like this. And so, like, when that happened, I was like, well, what if like vegetarians were automatically virgins? Like, I was like really trying to fix it.
They never ate blood, so
you know,
they,
you know,
they're
I was like,
virgin.
Trying to course correct it in your brain.
trying to course correct it in my brain,
Yeah.
and then a part of me is like, okay, well, maybe that's why like Shatara looks the way she looks is because they're not actual virgins and they corrupted the I was really just trying to make it work.
Yeah,
I think the moral of the story
Clean
is
it up.
nobody tells Shitar what to do.
Come on,
You know, you can't like Shitar's coming no matter what. There's nothing you can do. Even a bunch of dummy men who think they know what virgins look like, they can't figure it out. But
She's not
coming
loyal
anyway.
to you.
She's here.
She's not loyal to you, even though you brought her back. Yeah.
Exactly, because she ate that man. She ate that man once. She was like, I love it. She was like, hey, gruesome, and then kicked him. I said, what is this?
right.
At the club when they were like, oh, he was trying to feed the other detective. I said, yeah, girl, save your man because y'all together now.
Oh yeah,
Save him.
No, we need a sequel now about them. It won't be called Blood Diner or 2 or anything. It'll just be like a rom-com about
It'll just
them.
be like
a buddy
the diner
comedy
Call it the
romance.
diner.
A buddy cop comedy rom-com.
Blood
We don't
restaurant.
have any of those.
Yeah. Diner. But the fact that he got hooked, I was like, what is this? Where did he get this machine from to shoot this man with a hook in his leg to drag him?
Somebody mentioned the one non-human character, and well, we have the brain obviously, but there's the other guy at the diner. What can anybody? What was that?
The mannequin?
What was
Oh, yeah.
like.
Yeah, the
chef
rival.
talk for him.
Yeah.
What was? I don't know.
The restaurant rival. Yeah.
I don't know, sir. It was there.
Yeah,
But they were treating
I have,
that thing like it was a person sitting. Like they like looked and talked to him.
but with like a Mr. Rogers voice, you know, of like, oh, I'm just a regular customer. You know,
Don't pay attention to my lips not moving.
it's okay to have feelings.
Are you gonna eat your porridge? Like some weird lines, like some really weird lines. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did find it very interesting during the wrestling. I was like, I hate this antagonist. I really want him to perish because he's doing all these terrible things to all these people. But then I'm like, but you gave me the alternative is this Larry Hitler guy. Like I don't want to vote for anyone. Like, can they just
there's
knock
no one
each
to
other
root
out?
for at all.
No at all. Like
maybe
you
Shitar.
I was about to say you low key kind of root for Shitar because she didn't
Right.
ask to be here. Like maybe she did, but still, like I'm here now. I'm gonna do what I plan to do, which is like a blood party because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I remember the line that the dark-haired nephew said constantly. He's like, 5 million years BC, and I'm like, why isn't it just 5 million years ago? Why is it 5 million years BC? Like,
They want
but
you to
that's
know
the joke. Like
the
that's
accuracy.
you know for accuracy.
Yeah, the
5 million,
specificity.
2000 and something, right?
Another thing they say over and over again, I don't remember the exact years, but that there hasn't been a Bulgarian blood fest since like 5,000 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But then they go to the bar where the end scene is going to happen, and they're like, "Well, we did have a Bulgarian blood fest last year, but I don't know. It sounds like you guys have this taken
another
care of."
one. Why not? I did love the like hunger on pills. Like what it would like that was very interesting.
Listen, people just walking up in there just feeding them whatever these little niblets are. They were just
right,
like, "Here you
and they're
go."
just like,
This
oh, is this ecstasy? No, it's
and then that one dude, like he was on
hunger
stage,
on.
he was holding like something very phallic looking, and then you find out that it's just meat that they were cutting up and just throwing it into the crowd. I said, "What is happening in this film?" I said, "What is this?"
what about the girl that went back for her purse knowing there were dead people everywhere? She's like, oh,
Right.
my purse. Like, what do you get out
It's
of there?
Prada,
What are you
Smitty.
doing?
It's Prada.
When she
I
dropped
know.
all of her things.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it was a lot.
It's Prada,
Okay,
man.
so this discussion is making me appreciate the film far more because we've had this happen before on the podcast where the movie was meh, but the discussion like elevated the living crap out of the
Yeah.
movie. And I
Yeah.
think the making fun of it and the like having fun with it is part of it. And I could see how a crowd could add to
Absolutely. Have a
Yeah.
great
I
time
can
with
see
this.
that.
Absolutely.
that. So
That's why a lot of these films still make it into, you know, like Vinegar Syndrome or Severin will bring films like this back. And it's like, why'd you pick that? But then when you get into a conversation, I mean, films are inherently like, yes, you can have personal connections to them, but they are conversation pieces. And that is like one of the most wonderful things about film is getting together and being like, oh, you didn't know this about Sinners? Well, like, here's how some of the culture from my culture fed into that. And like, oh, I didn't know that, you know, like that's single-handedly the best part for me is having the conversations.
see, Josh just plugged the Real Study for us in such a great way. So now I'm just
Yeah.
going to cut that out, right? And we're just going to
Yes,
use that over
as
and over
you
to talk about
should.
the Real Study.
Yes.
Because that's what we're here for. That's literally what we do this for. We are cinephiles that can't shut up about movies ever,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is great. Okay, we do have another movie to cover, and so why don't we go ahead and rate Blood Diner? I think there might be like this weird. I've always found this with horror. Maybe you guys will agree or disagree with me on this, but film gets reviewed and then horror gets shit on in the
Yeah.
reviews because it's
Yeah.
always gets these lower reviews, and I almost feel like horror needs to be plucked out in like its own
Like separate.
scale.
Yeah.
Because even movies like Sinners, although Sinners is getting like 7.5, I think overall it's getting a good rating. Most good horror movies never get over 7 because there are still these people that are just like, oh, it's all trash and I hate everything about horror. So I think what I want to ask for these two movies is give me your typical rating, but then give me your like only horror movie rating, if you will. So why don't we start with Josh?
Oh boy. Well, I was
1 to
already
10.
so I rate things based on how much joy they bring me. And I would say, and you said it's out of 10.
1 out of 10,
Yeah.
or 1, 2.
Yeah,
3,
I would say this is like a 6. I think because if you're watching it alone, it's probably like a 2 or a 3. But if you're watching it with friends, it could be a 10, depending on the people you have with you. So I think 6 is like kind of safe. It's not like, yeah, I don't think it's terrible in the sense that it's unwatchable. I think it's terrible in the most fun sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree with that.
I can dig on that.
And I
so
refuse to rate it as a movie. I don't think it deserves a rating
so
as an actual
it's
film.
like it's a 1 otherwise, because we like to give the due credit of building a film. Janine brought that to the Real Study.
Okay, so I'll give a half. Okay, because I'm
You
not
get
sure they
credit for
did.
putting something on film. All right, I like it. Lala, what do you rate Blood Diner with the 2 scales?
Okay, so with the 2 scales, and I'm kind of like, just my brain's moving on its own. With the 2 scales, normal how I rate things. If it's below a 6, or if it's like a 6 and under, I'm like not really. It's not for me to watch anymore. I will never watch this again, type of thing. So I'll give it a solid like 5. I'll give it a solid 5, just like my normal like rating, because like it's not like. I mean, it's a terrible movie, but it's not a terrible movie. You know what I mean? If you understand what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
it's like, I know that's redundant as ever, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at right now. But if I want to take it out as like, that's like a film rating, but if I want to take it out as like a horror rating, and that's difficult because it's like horror is such like, it could be schlocky, it could be overly gory horror, and that's a different category. Like horror has its own like sub genre, so many sub genres, but horror as a whole, I'll actually give it like I'll give it a 7. If I'm doing it like a horror type of film, I'll give it a 7 simply because like it went there. It tried to be something, right? Like it was interesting creature designs. It was like blood and gore and like this, because this is stripping away the story, because baby, but stripping away the story. But it
more like flicking away because it's so
like literally decapitate away the story. You know what I mean? And it really went there with like not only like the sound effects and behind the scenes, but like just the design of everything, like how far they went, like just the ridiculousness of how far they went to
Yeah.
make this a type of big horror thing. I'll absolutely give it a 7 in the horror genre.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
I think that's really
Janine?
valid. I
Yeah.
think just to jump in for a sec, I think that's really valid, and I think it's important also to not use this as your only scope of vision,
Mhm.
but like, what would it have been like in 1987? A bunch of your friends are hanging out behind the school,
Absolutely.
drinking beers. You're like, let's go to a movie, and that's what's playing, and you just see it on a whim. Like you're walking out of that theater being like, this is maybe the best movie I've ever seen.
Mhm. or if it's not the best movie you ever see, be like, yo, that was nuts what we just watched.
Yeah.
Like
Well, yeah,
like that was nuts. Like we gotta come back tomorrow or next week or something like that to go
I can see
it.
why
like,
it was NC-17 rated. Like it definitely deserved that
Mhm,
rating
absolutely.
at the time. So
Yeah, Janine,
Janine-
sorry I cut you off.
No,
you're good.
that's fine. Yeah, kind of speaking to what Law was saying, I think as a film, I don't think I watched it in the best context in terms of, just by myself watching it.
Yeah.
So as a film, I would probably give it maybe like a 3, just because it did, make the effort to go there, and it was insane, and it just threw
Mhm.
everything at the wall and nothing really stuck, but they didn't care. So I appreciate that. So I'll give it a 3 for that. But in kind of a horror rating, I could see myself really having fun with this with a crowd, and just laughing at all the craziness. So I think I would give it maybe like a 6.5.
All right. Yeah, I do think that the seeing it a second time with a crowd would also, because then you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
You can walk
Make that
in
the
and
real
maybe
study
bring
when
somebody who's
you're
never seen it
watching
before,
it.
right? And then
Yes.
have them kind of Rocky Horror Picture Show through the whole film where you're
Yeah.
laughing and like, repeating lines and things.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm gonna be with Josh on this one. I think it's a 1 as a regular film goes. It's just. It hurt. It was hard to watch. It was very painful to watch.
Yes.
Now that I've watched it, I'm glad I watched it, but it's still a 1.
Mhm.
As schlocky horror goes, like this is like peak schlocky horror. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is like what people
Yes.
like aspire to. So I think as schlocky horror goes, I give this an 8. Like I think that
I respect that.
if you're gonna go, like if you're gonna do it,
Do it.
do this.
Do it.
And I actually have
Do it.
complaints about Slaxx for not doing this, which I think is interesting, and we'll get
I
into that.
agree. I can see
Um,
that.
Because you're gonna go camp, right? And again, this kind of almost comes back to the guy with the missing hands, like which weirdly we get in Slaxx as well, which
I
thought was, like,
know.
really great.
Right.
But just like that kind of comedy where you're laughing about such terrible, awful things. This is why Evil Dead 2 is my all-time favorite horror film to some degree. The Thing is my favorite horror film, but horror comedy, it's Evil Dead 2, and it's because it goes there, but it's still also creepy. And there are some pretty gross elements to this movie that you're missing out on if you haven't watched Blood Diner. So yeah, go watch Blood Diner with friends. Don't watch it by yourself.
Or do it both. Do it both. Get your reaction for both. Watch it by yourself and watch it with your friend.
Yeah, there
Then
is
watch it.
sort of like a badge of honor being the person who brings this to other people.
Absolutely.
And I feel that pride today because
I love that.
I know you guys wouldn't have clicked on it thumbing through Tubi, and now you have this badge of honor where you can be like, oh, that's like a Blood Diner from 1987. People are like, Blood Diner? Oh,
Oh, if you haven't
Actually,
seen
I did that
this-
with Slaxx. I told my friend about it. I gave her the premise of it, and she was like, I was like, oh yeah, it's on Tubi. She was like, I was just about to ask you where can I see this film at? So
the badge is yours. You do get the badge.
Wear with
we've
pride,
already
man.
brought it. But
Wear with
know
pride.
that we had this on our list to waiting for you for
yeah,
2.5 years.
yeah.
So you suggested these,
Absolutely.
and we never touched them because we were waiting
It
for you.
does.
Or
Ooh.
we just never touched them. You decide. We decide which one is true.
Which one we went for,
I'm kidding, of course. Looks like 1.8 is the average that we gave it. It looks like.
Nice.
When we're talking about the movie rating, if you will.
Mm.
All right, we're gonna move over to Slaxx, and Slaxx is another wildly ridiculous premise. This is about a killer pair of jeans.
Come on.
And
The
if you
best
don't
tagline
know
ever.
what that looks like, watch this wild Canadian horror film. Janine, I want to start with you. What did you think of Slaxx?
With 2 X's.
Yeah, right. I definitely think this would make a good double feature with Bad Hair, which is basically like a killer weave movie.
Mm.
You know, black woman put it on their head and then it just like kills things, and it's set in the 80s. So yeah, I think it would be a really kind of fun mix of that. That's what I was thinking of when I was watching this movie. I thought the gore was really well done. In terms of the performances, I think everyone fit into their trope really well. You know, we have like our goody kind of kiss ass. We have like our cool, aloof person. We have, you know, our uptight boss who has like sinister intentions. So I feel like everyone played into their tropes pretty well, except the kind of influencer girl. I felt like she was doing something else. She was like doing too much. And everyone kind of found the pocket really well, but she was kind of overdoing it a little bit.
Hey guys, it's amazing. Let's get these jeans. I'm like, girl, breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, she was
You
TikTok
closed
before
the store
TikTok,
for
you know, in a way.
this?
No, for sure.
Right.
But yeah, generally I had a lot of fun with it. I think the kills were a lot of fun. I liked the story, the kind of twist of why the genes are doing this. You know, and just even seeing it in its attacks just was very kind of comical looking. But yeah, it felt a little bit kind of like a churned out, you know, student kind of, you know, high quality student film level, but also well made. And yeah, just kind of having fun with a silly premise and trying to make it feel like a real thing, and give some like history and lore to, you know, why this is happening. So yeah, for what it was, I appreciated it and I had fun with it.
I like that. I like that. And Lala, what did you think of Slaxx?
I thought Slaxx was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious because it's like anything becoming sentient is just funny to me, especially when it's like things that don't normally become alive, you know what I'm saying, like alive. And I will say this, plot wise, it's way better than Blood Diner because it follows
you get a coherent story.
You get a coherent story, absolutely. You understand like why this girl is over here, and you kind of go. Aina said, "Is this like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants horror version?" Honestly, I mean,
yeah, that's the premise of these scenes. Like they're made because they can adapt to anyone's shape. That's shape, like and the selling point of these jeans.
But like, I feel like it was kind of giving me like, if you've ever seen the TV show, it was on NBC called Superstore with like America Ferrera.
Superstore, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a Walmart kind of.
Yeah, this gave me that vibe. It's like the characters from that were like inspired by this film, because it was like you had the overbearing, like not well, kind of overbearing, but like you had like the overbearing, very much, this is the store and these are the rules and we got to make sure this, like towing the company line character. You got the one that's like, man, I'm just here to get a paycheck, like I don't care what we do. And you have the one that's like, come on guys, let's have to take this seriously, and then realizes like, this ain't serious.
This is
like, so it was kind of like, I felt like whoever like created Superstore might have seen this, because it just felt very like a nice trajectory of somebody was like, what if we made a good version of Slaxx and it moved it into like a Walmart setting or something like that. But I thought, like Janine said, I'm gonna be Brian on this one and copy Janine and say that you gotta have it, and say that I agree. I like the origin of the Slaxx, like where like why you learn why it's just not like a random out of the blue reason
coming to
why
life
these
or something
can come to life and things like that, and why it's actually killing people and stuff like that. I will say personally, for me, I found it odd that the Indian girl didn't become kind of like the like lead in a way, because how it's connected that way,
to her,
like you know, it was kind of like we couldn't have gotten this far without her being able to, because all of a sudden baby girl just understood her. I was just like, that you had a translator for a reason. I felt like she should have, like, it would have been a great character arc for her to kind of like rise above her, and these two survive at the end or something and become like friends or something. I was hoping it went that route as opposed to what we got, because I was just like, you started with a very interesting like dynamic between the two of them, of this white girl being like, hey, do you listen to this song,
and believing in this company as well, and
right, because I'm like, I'm Indian, so I believe in this song. Like that was I would do this song, but do you find out that she does like this song? Like that was just fun.
And so did the pants,
and so did the pants. And so like, it's just like, I would have loved to have like just a little bit more with those characters. But overall, I thought it was funny. I thought the kills were hilarious and interesting. I've been in a setting I've been in a closed setting where people are annoying like that. I've been around people like that. So watching them die was a great for me. So because I can't do this in real life. So I thoroughly enjoy Slaxx way better than I enjoy Blood Diner.
Yeah, because when you watch them back to back,
because I did. I watched them back to back, and I watched Slaxx first, then I watched Blood Diner, and I was like, "Oh boy!"
I watched it the other way around. So,
okay,
a definite palate cleanser.
So you guys got your palate clean, and I got mine destroyed. So
right.
But Slaxx was great, and I had another thing about Slaxx. But also I think it told a story of just consumerism and how people just latch on to the new thing and how you don't care because the genes didn't kill this girl, greedy humans killed this girl. Yeah. She was trying to save everyone's life
and expose what's really happening
with this company. She was being thwarted at every chance. She was the best person in this film, and the fact that she died was just that was really hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's realistic. It's very realistic, but it hurt my feelings a bit. But did anybody see the ending credits where they showed the girl dancing, how they did the dancing with the jeans?
Yeah.
I thought that was the greatest thing ever. So it's a lady in a green suit. She has she has a green suit on.
Puppeteering the pants.
And she's puppeteering the pants. So there's sticks, green sticks on the pants, and it's attached to her hips, and then she's holding from the pier. So
you want them to be loose. You don't want them to be
you don't want them to be filled.
Yeah.
So it was such a. I was that's a great thing to put at the end of this film because it just makes it better to see kind of the magic of the pants. You know how they did that? That was
I like it. Josh, you picked Slaxx as well. Tell us why and what you thought.
Yeah, sorry again. So I love that this film, and of course it doesn't get super deep, but I love what this film says about consumerism, fast fashion, the retail industry, how Americans view their jobs and maybe take them too seriously and make them too much a part of their lives. And then of course the schlocky, killer pants. If Bad Hair was the second movie to play during this, when people walk in and when people walk out, the movie Rubber would be what's playing on the screen.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's a killer spare tire.
That was my first Real Study episode as a guest.
Yes. It's a brilliant
That's
film.
amazing. But yeah, I think all of everything that you said is 100% right. And I don't know, I kind of love when the most loved character and the one that can help the most is killed off, because no matter how many times that happens, it's always heartbreaking and it always makes you feel
expectations.
And you feel much bigger feelings than you expect to feel watching a movie about killer pants.
Right?
No, for sure.
I do admit there was a moment at the end, towards the end, as we started to see the consumerism message and the how corporations do some pretty awful things just to bring us goods. I was like, oh, there's a message. Oh, crap. Okay, this movie just got better. And I didn't expect it to get better. I do say the most unrealistic thing about this film is not the killer pants. It's the joy on all the employees' faces during the corporate meeting. That
no, that's a fact.
I did not believe any. I was like, I've been in corporate meetings. This is not.
So,
this
not
doesn't
at all.
happen.
Yes,
People
sir.
were like, can we get back to work now?
No,
That's literally what they are.
Yeah. Like a more Shaun of the Dead version of that. Yeah.
Right.
But I will say, I did want to bring up that this film it came out in 2020. It came out right at the beginning of the pandemic, and also at the end of the first Trump situation. And I feel like it was at the beginning of this surge of fun, happy horror that happened, and that is still happening with movies like The Monkey that came out this year. And I just really appreciate that, because I feel like the couple of years before that, we were getting into this really dark, heavy art house, just really intense space. And especially as we got into COVID, I mean, there's no way when they were making this that they knew there was going to be a pandemic, but the timing of it coming out, maybe the reason it was picked up and distributed. I just remember having so much anxiety around the time that this came out, and especially afterwards. And I couldn't play horror video games anymore, and I couldn't watch like really serious horror anymore, and I couldn't watch war movies anymore. And like my world was just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I discovered Slaxx and was just like, it was such a breath of fresh air to just watch some pants kill some people.
Stuff like this, like stuff
Well.
like Totally Killer, like just really fun kind of
Yeah.
I love
comedy,
Totally
you
Killer.
know, yeah.
I love that movie a lot.
Mhm.
I think the kills are what make this movie great because there are some unexpected ones, and they come pretty rapidly. I didn't expect them to like boom, 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 boom. But I did love how the influencer got just strangled to death by the pants. It didn't even bother to like eat her. It just strangled her to death, like a pair, like,
you
Not hungry anymore.
Like,
Right.
you little idiot. Just
and I
choke her out.
right. And I do love that the pants had such an insatiable lust for blood that there was never a drop remaining whenever they'd come into a scene. The pants just drank up all the blood.
Just soaked them up. Yeah.
I love the corporate manager, the manager.
I was happy when he died.
Craig, what's his name?
Yeah.
Craig. He was so corporate driven. He's like, okay, so she killed herself by sucking her own guts out and stuffing herself into
like
a
he did
cabinet.
anything to like make sure that this launch happened.
And I love how he gets his like, and I still don't understand why there were 5 pairs of pants, but whatever. What are you gonna do? She like spread herself out into pants. I don't know what happened there, but they skinned him.
Her blood was in the cotton, so it would make sense that like more than one.
Oh, that means there's an army of those.
No, because there's like she asks like how many of these jeans are there? And
so everything from that box,
so everything from that box is her.
Probably cotton made for her.
It's been 5 years. What are we doing? Elza or Elza, yeah, Elza Kephart. We need a sequel. Slaxx with another X. Give us a third X
finally.
And let's see the like bring this out of the store and let's see it on the streets. Like I want to see these pants going nuts.
There's going to be a topless quota though if there's 3 X's in the title.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know where the quota should come from? It should be men. That should be the quota. Topless.
All topless men.
Bottomless.
I like that.
Bottomless men.
Bottomless men quota.
It's a nips quota, right? There's a nips quota.
We'll call it a nubs quota.
A nubs quota. I do think. I do think that there is a world where we do want to see more pants eating people.
That's fun.
I'm saying if we can get like a million Sharknadoes, we can get some of these. We can get
definitely. I watch a series of these for sure.
Yeah.
I still have to watch Sharknado though. I've never seen it.
I've never seen them either.
I saw it on mute at a bar, and the subtitles were on, and it was like one of my favorite things that my wife and I've ever done. We didn't talk the entire time; we just read the movie and like looked at each other like, "Are you seeing that?"
Honestly, that could be way more fun than actually hearing the script. You can just kind of make up your own. I dig that. Yeah.
I just never thought I wanted to watch 90210 actors come back and like do anything.
True. Yeah. My thing is this: if you can have fun with your own legend, and I mean that for like 90s, 80s TV show people that like their thing was like, because like now it's you as an actor, it's a wide range of like. You don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing. And if you are, you kind of chose to do that. But back then you had no choice but to kind of like, if you're the mean girl, you're the mean girl in every TV show, in every movie, if we do get you into a movie and things like that. So like when I see
villain face people
still
have that problem.
Exactly. When I have, cause like Mads Mikkelsen just can't not be a villain, but he just cannot. And I love him every time, but geez Louise, let this man do a rom-com or something. He's a handsome man. Like let him be free.
Let him fall in love.
Let him fall in love. Let him have a family.
But I would be expecting a post-credit scene where he's like eating someone or killing someone. I would just expect
screaming. Oh my god, I can make that happen. But I think now it's like I love seeing like actors that like I watched when I was like younger, like in the 90s, come back and embrace it. Fully embrace. Like that this is like unfortunately you're not going to be in these blockbuster like films or these high-rated TV shows, and that kind of sucks. But like if you can do something as cool as Sharknado, which maybe on surface people are like, this is stupid, but it's
those
like
were really
15 of them.
popular because they were
Like, they're
so
like really
ridiculous.
popular.
Yes,
Exactly. Like have fun.
You're saying
with,
you
like,
want more people to Hasselhoff themselves, is what you're saying.
yes, because I feel like they
enjoy
will, because personally as an actor, like, do I want to be like known and I get these big blockbuster movies and work with Ryan Coogler? Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. But if I could just be a working actor making Sharknado films or making something else that people enjoy, that's where I want to be. Right? Everybody doesn't get to the blockbuster status, but if I could be an actor that people are like, yo, man, did y'all see that film where it's like it was a killer dolphin and she had to survive? Like, whatever it is.
But do you write something we don't know about? Killer dolphin movie? What are you?
Maybe not.
Cooking
You
something up?
never know.
Maybe.
You know, it's
I
Flipper,
love
but XX.
Zipper.
Zipper. Yes.
Evil Flipper.
Evil
He's got a
Flipper.
scar right here.
Yes.
He's got to have like
And he
a
got,
guttural
like,
like.
he got like he got teardrop
he can't
tattoos.
do
You
the
know what
high
I'm
pitch
saying? Like, he got all kind of stuff. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Oh.
Just goes by.
So,
Okay, Josh. So we write this, right?
so would the sequel have like an alternate like good guy that's like a dress shirt or something, or like another animated piece of clothing that would have to battle the pants? Like I just feel like there's something that could happen. Sequel, you gotta up the ante.
I feel like we getting into spirit now. So me personally, I would write it so that like a relative of Karat's is now like it's like, because like obviously the clip got out, right? Something got out, and I'm going to assume that they filmed themselves because they couldn't film her. That's just lore I'm putting out there, that she filmed herself or she filmed somebody, like one of the two filmed themselves to be like, hey, killer pants, you got to realize that it was a girl, she was 13, because they got all this information for what? Like, I feel like, and it never got put on camera, so you can easily say that they did that in those scenes that you didn't see them for a while because all she had was the memory card. I feel like a family member would have to like dispel her like her spirit.
So that'd be the protagonist would be a family member trying to get her out of the pants.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, second pitch though. What if the second one is about shoes and it pairs up with the pants and it takes place in the 90s in the hood?
I mean,
what year does Slaxx take place?
No. It's not making sense.
Oh, okay. I be making sense.
I'm throwing stuff out there.
My brain has to make sense. I'm like, what's the through line there, Josh? What's the?
There's not. I just thought I was like, how do I mix Friday with killer pants?
I'm here for it.
Like,
I was thinking Tales from the Hood, like maybe
Tales from the Hood. Yeah.
Like a Clarence III,
or like Leprechaun. Was it the second one or was it the 18th one? I don't remember.
I think they did at least 18 of those. Aina said something great. She said the director of Slaxx said this: there wouldn't be a sequel to Slaxx in particular, although someone suggested that it would make a great musical, and she agreed with that. So Slaxx on Broadway, maybe, or off Broadway. Could be interesting.
Because think about it, right? You could go deeper into the character of Karat, and the jeans could be singing about the pain and what she did,
or why she loves that song so much,
right? Or why she loves that song.
Well, you could have a Bollywood-esque like soundtrack to it, or
right?
You could do some songs in Bollywood and some American.
All these jeans doing Bollywood, like a whole Bollywood set piece with just the pants,
just the jeans. Come on.
No, but I would love the idea of putting people in green screen wearing jeans on the stage and let them just dance around, and you have to pretend like you don't see the people.
Yeah, like they're all in kind of black leotards, completely.
Yeah, something like that.
I want them. I want them to like. I want them to be in all black, and the jeans kind of like are the focal point of it. And
and how they light it.
Right. How you light it so you can't see the people, but they're there, and it's just like, oh my god, how did they get these jeans to move on their own?
Yeah. Either that or the hologram, like they do in the
that does sound
musical.
Yeah.
I've got a problem, but you guys can continue.
That headphone
without
died.
me. Well,
exactly.
Well, I don't know where to go from here, other than you mentioned Mads Mikkelsen, and I know at some point you're going to ask me for recommendations. There's a movie called Mads that I saw a couple months ago. It's a French movie. It's all one shot, and it's the most it's the most ambitious all-in-one shot movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It starts out with someone sniffing drugs at the beginning. They get in a convertible, they drive off to their home, end up going to a party. At some point, they end up going up a skyscraper, and the camera's just following them everywhere. There's like
Okay.
motorcycles and like all
What's
this stuff,
happening?
but it's all based around this drug that basically turns you into it's like somewhere in between like 28 days later kind of like rage virus and like zombie kind of thing. But it's never quite fully explained. It's just that this drug does something horrible to people and then they start to come after you. But it absolutely blew my mind when I saw it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Definitely.
I wrote it
If we're
down.
going for weird deep cuts, I just saw that the stop motion animator for basically every movie that you know it from your childhood, like Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and those types of films. Why is his name not coming to me? This is driving me nuts. Anyway, he produced his own film over 30 years called Mad God, and it's 100% stop motion animation and
wow.
really bizarre and really cool.
Okay.
Phil
Why do I
Tippett.
not remember his name? Phil Tippett. Thank you for that. Phil Tippett, model extraordinaire, worked on all the Star Wars movies. Check
I got
that
your
one
back,
out if you
man.
want something. You want something weird. That said, we do need to rate Slaxx, and if you ever want to produce Slaxx the musical, just know the Real Study's promoting that, so you might want to, loop
Heck
us
yeah.
in. We would love to be in your movie.
I want to be a pair. Let me be a pair.
Right. I would love to be a pair of jeans for you.
I just want to get killed.
You
You
know,
want to get killed? That'd be cool too. I wouldn't mind
I'm
dying in a
down,
movie.
man. I'm down.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and rate it. Janine, I'm going to have you go first.
Yeah, I had fun with this. I would give it a 7.5.
All right. Do you want to give it the horror movie rating, or you think that we can bring this one back?
I think we
into
can bring this
run?
one back into just film
Yeah.
ratings.
Fair. How about you, La? What do you rate it?
I'll give it a 7. I enjoyed it. I think I would watch it again just to more deeply pay attention to people and how ridiculous it is. Because I think I just surface watched it.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
then the next movie you watched just erased
Right.
everything.
it did just erased
from your
everything I
brain.
thought of from Slaxx. I'm surprised I brought up anything during the chat because geez, Louise Blood Diner. But yeah, I give it a 7. Absolutely, it's rewatchable in the most fun way. Yeah,
And recommendable, apparently. 'cause
and
I
recommendable.
recommended it,
Absolutely, because I did recommend it. So yeah.
So, how about you, Josh?
I'm gonna give it an 8 because I don't think I'll go back and watch it by myself, but I do want to bring this film to other people. I want it to be one of those films where you're hanging out and everyone's like, should we watch a movie? What should we watch? Something fun, something not too serious. Have you seen Slaxx? It's about killer pants. How do you say no to that? So yeah,
Right?
and it
Great
won't be
pick.
disappointing.
I like that. I'm going to agree. I think a 7 is a solid number for this because it is rewatchable. And on the same level that I love to tell people to go watch Rubber, I would love to tell them to watch Slaxx. I think any movie about an inanimate object that kills people gets a bump. Like it automatically just, I don't know why. I love
Absolutely.
that. So it gets a little bump.
Yeah, because you got to get creative, man. It's not like a normal like human killing a human. You got to get creative on how these genes can kill people.
Because we've seen it before.
Right.
So yes.
At the end of the day, they are a pair of jeans. If somebody don't get some scissors or something, like I just.
Right.
But
I
it
don't
was
think
just.
you could cut these jeans. That's just my opinion. I don't think you could do it.
Hey,
She
but
couldn't even
nobody,
pull on them.
Nobody
They were
tried
ripping
it.
her
That's because
hair.
they were on her, and they were like.
No,
to
I know,
me,
and they have teeth,
might have
which we
been-
didn't see
Right.
until after, right?
But that
So-
might have been like my favorite, like one of my favorite scenes of her being on the toilet stall just going crazy. Because like was she pooping or was she dying? Either way,
right.
You
That
know,
was
Probably
giving
a little
it
bit of
was giving
both.
a little
you
both,
know,
yeah.
I felt like a little bit of both.
Or
And I
dying
felt
and
like
then
that
pooping.
actress
It's, you know.
did very well with having to play a genes killing her from the inside. Like how can you direct
Right.
that? How can you give direction for that?
Yeah.
And I thought
exactly.
she did a great job, man. Them feet just going crazy, and then she just clicked. I was like, yeah, I enjoyed that death. That's a good one.
Well, especially with the corporate sleaze, like talking about how great the jeans were in the
Oh
background.
my
There was like a
gosh,
nice
yeah.
like layering to that.
Yeah.
This movie had a little bit more nuance than Blood Diner in the fact that it was saying something rather than "Oh, long live Shatar," you know, like it was saying.
Yeah.
That said, we really want to say thank you to Josh
Thank you,
Haunting
Josh.
Season for
Yes,
being
thank
here.
you.
Thank you for
Yay.
suggesting these movies. I'm glad we finally got to them.
This is the last time on the Real Study because he played Blood Diner, but we enjoyed you.
Yeah.
I kid, I just.
We will have you back in 3 years. I'm kidding. of
Yeah,
course.
you
You
know,
are
we gotta
Yeah,
get-
banished for 3 years.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, we gotta get this out of our system, man, before we get you back.
Right. The next thing we know, we're gonna have another like Blood Diner 2 or Blood Feast. I guess we might watch that since it's the, like sort of prequel to this.
Microwave Massacre.
Ooh,
right.
I'm thinking.
Apparently
That's
that
the one that
auto.
popped up. Yeah,
Yeah, apparently it
auto
auto played on our TV because my wife was like, "Why are you watching things like Blood Diner and Microwave Massacre?" And I was like, "I did not watch Microwave Massacre."
Yeah, mine popped the same movie, which is weird. We don't have our movies. Do we have our movies for next week? Janine, you were mentioning for
I will not be
Juneteenth.
here
You will not
next
be here
week.
for next week. Okay.
Yeah.
It is Father's Day, so we might do something Father's Day related, but we'll
Fathers.
see.
Watch
Do
that
Father's
said-
Day 1 and 2, or the
Stepfather.
Stepfather 1 and 2.
Ooh,
Great.
there's a couple more
I said,
horror.
watch the butt demon. Is what she
Watch the Butt Demon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know how to take
Like, watch
that.
out for the butt demon, or it's a movie and I should
Bad
watch
milo.
it.
It's a movie Aina talked about earlier in the chat that she said she heard about this movie called Bad Milo, where this guy was
Milo.
like this butt demon or something like that. So she put the trailer in our Discord. So if you want to see it, come be a real student, join our Discord so you can see this trailer and what she's talking about with a butt demon. So just saying.
That reminds me of Clerks 2 and the vagina troll, the pussy troll, if you will. Like that's
Yeah.
you're getting like butt
It reminds me
demons
of
and
like
pussy trolls.
little Nicky with the boob head guy. It's just like
This is the episode for it, that's for sure. Thank you guys for being here, and please check us out on all social media, as Law said. This has been episode 4, season 30, season 4, episode 32 of The Real Study, and we will see you guys next time.
peace
Have a
out.
great night.